The movie opens showing a woman named Sarah preparing herself for a bath as she sits in the bathtub. She gets electrocuted and died. Then the scene fades and time moves forward. 1 year later, a young woman named Alice is seen driving along a winding mountain road in Spain. She is heading toward the remote house of her husband, Paul. Alice is Paul's second wife. Sarah, the woman who died in the bathtub, was his first wife. Paul is a businessman, so he has to go abroad for work. Because of this, he asks Alice to stay behind and look after his 12-year-old son, Marcus. As Marcus's stepmother, Alice agrees to take responsibility for him. Paul tells Alice that Marcus is currently away at boarding school and will return home in a week. However, when she finally enters the house, she is shocked to discover that Marcus is already there. When Alice asked him the reason for early coming from school, he said that he got off the school because of the chickenpox outbreak at school. Alice believed him, but she found it all a bit weird. She was surprised because by age Marcus was young, but he was talking like a grown-up man and not a child. The next morning, Alice gets a call from Paul, and he wanted to talk to Marcus. Alice took the phone to Marcus's room, but he was in the bathroom. She goes inside the bathroom, and Marcus talks to his father. He then returns the phone to Alice to talk to Paul as she's talking while sitting near Marcus. He starts to touch her inappropriately. Alice is surprised to see this behavior of Marcus. She gets angry at this nonsense, but she leaves without saying anything to him. As time passes by, we find out Marcus has no friends. And plus, Marcus is a spoiled boy. Alice tries her best to take care of Marcus, but he gives his own stepmother a dirty look. After a few days, Paul returns home after finishing his work abroad. Marcus and Alice go to the airport to pick him up when they are coming back in their car. Paul starts touching Alice. This gets Alice out of control, and they were about to have an accident. But Alice manages to control the car. After arriving home, Paul and Alice reconnect, while Marcus stays outside, pretending to be absorbed in his games. Later that evening, the three of them go out to a hotel for dinner. During the meal, Paul suddenly asks Alice if she has taken money from his safe. Alice immediately denies it. Paul then explains that Marcus took the money to pay for a taxi. Marcus casually claims that he only took $500. However, Alice remembers him saying earlier that he had spent all the money. When she questions him, Marcus calmly twists his words and insists he never said that. Alice got suspicious, but kept quiet at that moment. After coming home, she checks Marcus's room. She didn't find any money in that room, but she does find a torn letter. One day, when Marcus and Paul were swimming, Marcus tells Paul that Alice doesn't like him, and she also doesn't take care of him. Alice was listening to their conversation, but pretended to sleep. He also tells Paul that Alice searched his room. Paul doesn't pay much attention to Marcus because he's a child and kids can just say anything. One day, she goes to school to find out about Marcus, where she finds out that he has no holidays. Instead, they rusticated him from school. They even sent a letter to their house, but Marcus destroyed it. She finds out that Marcus spies in nearby homes and stares ugly at people. He kills cats that wandered around the school. Therefore, he got fired for his vile actions. A few days later, Alice goes to a party with Paul, where she meets a woman named Sophie. She told Alice that Sarah was her friend. She said that Sarah didn't die of drowning. Instead, she was electrocuted. Now Alice gets suspicious that Marcus was the one who killed Sarah. Alice also tries to explain it all to Paul, but Paul doesn't believe it, and they both argue about it. One night, Alice goes to the store upstairs for some work where she found a hole in the ceiling of her bedroom in a way that her bed can be seen from the store. It seems like Marcus getting intimate with these two. So Alice goes to Marcus and asks him why he looks at them both in bed. Marcus says that he likes doing all this. Alice asks him one thing more. She wonders if he used a spy like this on Sarah too. Marcus says he didn't like watching Sarah and says she wasn't as beautiful as you. Now she asks him, how did Sarah die? Marcus says that she had a heart attack. Alice gets angry and says that you are lying. She died of electrocution. Alice asks him to tell her the truth, but he refuses to say a word and say that. Why should he tell her all this and what he will get in return if he tells her all this? Alice offers him money, but he refuses and says he wants Alice. Then Alice starts taking off her clothes one by one, and Marcus seems to answer her questions. He says Sarah had a heart condition and he knew about it, but he says that she didn't even tell Paul about it. Marcus says he found it in a letter from the doctor, which she kept secret. Alice thinks Marcus is lying and she doesn't believe what he says at all. She goes to Sophie, where both visit Sarah's tomb, and she confirms that Sarah had a heart issue, which she kept secret from her husband. Alice tells Paul about the hole in the ceiling and took him upstairs. But surprisingly, there was no hole. Alice tells Paul it was there, and Marcus must have fixed it. She says that Marcus keeps keeping into their room and watching them while they're getting intimate. But Paul doesn't believe her. Alice doesn't give up, and she did some research about Sarah's death and finds out that it was Marcus who killed Sarah. Marcus causes a defect in the wires beneath the bathtub, and when Sarah entered the water, she got electrocuted, and she has heart issues, so she got a heart attack and died. Now, Alice wanted to find out more about Marcus, so she asked Marcus why he killed Sarah. He says that he didn't like Sarah at all, and he did this because he enjoys doing it to people. He informs Alice that it is now her turn to die, which badly disturbed Alice mentally. Alice didn't know what to do because no one was believing her, what she was saying. Paul also thought Alice had some serious mental issues. It was fear of death and anxiety that Alice's condition becomes so bad that she is kept in a mental hospital where she spent her time miserably. After a few months, Alice gets well and she comes home from the hospital. One day, Paul decides to take Alice and Marcus for an outing where the three of them roam in a park. Paul and Alice were talking while Marcus was playing with his dog. Paul excuses himself as he has to go do some urgent work. He left Alice and Marcus in the park. Both start talking about the death of different things. Marcus tells her that he won't hide her now because he's starting to like her. Alice kisses Marcus and says that they will run away and live together. Suddenly, Alice notices a car speeding down the road toward them. Thinking quickly, she throws the dog's ball into the street. The dog immediately runs after it. Seeing the danger, Marcus rushes forward, trying to save the animal before it can be hit. But fate takes a different turn. The speeding car strikes Marcus instead. The impact is instant, and Marcus dies on the spot. Alice looks at Marcus one last time. Smile appears on her face, not out of joy, but relief. The nightmare that had trapped her for so long is finally over, exactly as fate allowed it to happen. And with that, the movie comes to an end. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more dark and thrilling stories.